Good morning. This is my view right now. I didn't sleep last night. Maybe an hour, maybe two, if that. The collective fight, flight, freeze is quite overwhelming, even with all the skill sets that I have and tools that I have. And curious to see how your night was and where you're at. But I also wanted to share with you, this is my view. This is where I came this morning. This is literally walking distance from my house. And I used to not come down here too often because the path to get here can be quite thick. And with the amount of deer ticks that are in my location, I hadn't come here in quite a while. So it was nice to see that there was a slightly more bigger path. But it was also refreshing when I was feeling turbulence in the waters within to see how calm these waters are this morning. As you can see, they're quite peaceful, quite tranquil. And I figured we would offer a prayer while I'm here and to offer support for anybody that feels like they might need it. If your anxiety or your stress or your frustration might be quite high and triggered. I did do a post yesterday with with an update of the energies, kind of piggybacked off of yesterday's Facebook Live. And I was just writing my June newsletter for my email, and I'm going, there's too much to tie together, so I had to do a blog post, and next thing I know, here I am writing a blog post in between clients yesterday and Zoom calls. And what I ended up doing was tying in the energies of what we've been talking about, what we've learned here in the last 12 weeks now, and what has been happening, as well as something that I don't talk about, which is the premonition that started 10 years ago. And after I pressed publish and after I sent my email, that is when our lovely president decided to come out and say that he is using the military against American citizens. And that triggered me tremendously because I have, not with the military, but I've dealt with political violence, which I've talked about. And I have dealt with, in advocating for victims of domestic violence, I have experienced that aspect of oppression and silence and the mighty power of having your civil rights being violated and thrown into jail when you haven't committed a crime, and just to silence you. Just to silence you. That was the goal, was to silence you and to stop you from you doing the work that we need to be doing for truth, right? Isn't that what it's about? It's about truth and justice for all. But I didn't realize how untrue that was because of my white privilege until I faced family courts in 2005. And that's actually when I developed complex PTSD. I didn't develop complex PTSD or PTSD that I know of from me being raped at 15 to me being roofied to sexual harassment to domestic violence. None of that gave me PTSD. Dealing with the system that is supposed to protect children and victims of abuse was the ultimate. And that's what I'm seeing play out right now. There's a parallel, which I wrote in my, not the post that I shared yesterday, but the post that I shared a while ago, the post before that, talking about my story and what I'm seeing with COVID, with people being triggered. So I'm curious to know where you're at right now. I'm curious to know what's surfacing, what's triggering. Starting next week, I am offering the Zoom groups, which is going to be a bridge above what we're doing here, because it's going to include at a very nominal rate group spiritual coaching and guidance for an hour. We're going to be offering that at least to start 3 days a week, and at a very inexpensive cost. So from what I'm told, I was told I was crazy to be charging the little money that I am, but I am trying to help people at the same time during difficult times. So if you're interested in that, I think I posted a link about that yesterday, or send me a private message and we can chat. But this is what it's about, right? So anybody going to the protests today, sponsored by Black Lives Matter? I know for me, I'm trying to decide, I'm getting anxiety actually over wondering, do I go to Boston? Do I go to Quincy, or do I stay in Hingham where it's safe? So I'm trying to be mindful both. I'm actually honestly not afraid for my safety. I have been on the front lines before. I have stood on the front lines before. I have gone to jail for a cause, and I'm not afraid to put my life or my body to save another. And I had to sit with that to see if that was really a truth for me. But then I had to look at all the actions I have done throughout my entire life in that action. So I'm torn. So, I'm kind of curious to see where you guys are at and what's surfacing for you and what's happening in your world. And, there's so much. I did post early this morning, about action steps to take and really trying to get us to get out of the fear, the fight, flight, freeze mode, and get us into action mode. So today what I would like to do is maybe offer a prayer if you guys would like to join me in that. So I'm going to switch the camera around so we get to take in the elements here as we do, because I would like to first ask for permission from the Massachusetts people, those that we have slaughtered, the white man has slaughtered and murdered in the name of colonization. And I'm asking for permission to be here on the land that is sacred to them, to the ancestors, the stewards of the original land that I am standing on and now occupying. And now I ask and I call on, dear infinite God of love and light, dear Creator, dear Great Spirit, hear our cries. Help us not to feel sympathy for us, but to help us with seeing beyond our fears. Help us to stand in our truths, no matter what they may be, as fearless spiritual warriors and stewards of this great mother. Dear Mother, we hear you, we hear your cries. We are sorry for neglecting you and abusing you and not taking your care seriously and taking it for granted. We understand that you have birthed us and you have the right to call that up as we speak. We're asking for you to give us a chance to stand in unity, to deal with the stuff that's in our shadows, to help us see what needs to be seen, to help us hear what needs to be heard, to help us stand fearlessly for those that can't stand for themselves. And may we continue to grow. Father, Son, we feel you. We have felt your presence and your roars and your upset with the solar flares cascading, reminding us that with the loudest roar, you could take out everything and all life on this planet if you choose. We honor and respect you. We call upon the North to help us stay grounded. We call upon the South to help us maintain and the respect for the fire and the flame with the wisdom that's within. We call upon the East and the winds, knowing when to blow the seeds of change and when to calm the waters. And we call upon the West to help us see what needs to be calm, what waters need to be calm within us, so we may be able to do the work that we have come here to do and to be. Help guide us, help give us the wisdom, help show us the way. Thank you. Kyo dakiwa ikaro na shinpai suna kanchaste gyo hagame intoni shinsatsuni. How are you doing? I'm not seeing any comments here, so I'm not sure if it's the link that I have or if I will be seeing it later. Or you guys are just in a paralyzed kind of state. Know that I'm here with you. If you feel you need to, I might be offering, I gotta see what my schedule is, a discount just for the members of this group, not offered anywhere else, for anybody who might be seeking some one-on-one help. Virtual sessions or in person. I am doing limited in-person sessions. So I'm maxing that out right now until we find out what's going on in the next 30 days to 1 to 2 people a day. So until we find out the rhythm of this whole thing. Thank you for spending your morning. Please share. If there's something that's bothering you and you need group support, post. Let us support you. Let the group support you. Let the community support you. Know that you're not alone in all these waves of change. And please definitely check out my latest post that I just published yesterday. I would love your feedback on that. Have a great day. Maybe I'll see you in Hingham or Quincy or even Boston at the rally. I haven't decided which location I'm going yet. PM me if you want to have a discussion on that. Talk to you soon.